Tired of the hype about living the dream? It's time for truth. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Your Ultimate Life, the podcast that I've created to help people live a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy by maximizing their gifts, their talents, and their life experience. This is part of the special Thursday edition that started a few months ago, talking specifically about coaching. And we have a technology explosion going on, like we had the internet explode and change everything. And now we have another one like that that's bigger, probably the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution in the growth of and the multiple uses of AI. We're not going to talk about all the possibilities of AI on this podcast just because it's way, way, way too big. What we want to focus on is how AI is affecting or will affect coaching, that particular profession. And I love coaching. I am one, and these folks are also. And so anyway, I've got a couple of coaches that are with me to talk about what they see in this context. So Glenn and Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You betcha. So let's just get started. It's not going to be real formal. We're just going to have a conversation. Rachel, I'm going to start with you. What, how are you using or not using AI in the context of your coaching research, work, or whatever? What are you doing with that?
So I'm seeing it as a way of, how do I see it? Like for me, I actually see it as a way of us being able to be uniquely ourselves. So I do work in the coaching field, more in the world of energy than actual direct coaching, but I see it as an opportunity to actually allow our true voices to come out and be heard. Because I think what we're seeing with AI is it's great. It can, for me, I use it to, yes, if I'm creating content, if I'm creating a sales page, if I'm creating something about that I'm putting out there, I will use AI to help me with that. But I also am aware that often what happens when I am using it is that it cuts out my unique voice and my unique energy. And sometimes it will change how I would potentially say things. So I use it, but I'm also aware that if you rely too much upon it, it just becomes a noise and you become the same noise as everybody else. And so then you lose your uniqueness. That's my feeling around it at the moment. I like it, I use it, but I'm also aware that if I just become completely reliant on it, then Rachel becomes redundant because my voice and my uniqueness just becomes a melee of what everyone else is saying.
Do you notice, I notice, and I use it a ton, and I did hundreds, maybe 1,000 hours of use and research of 11 different coaching models in the process of writing the book and analyzing their effectiveness and all that stuff. Do you notice in that context of homogenizing voices that I used to hear that people had these AI detectors. You can detect if it's written by AI or not. And at first that sounded very mysterious to me, but now that I've used it for hundreds, maybe thousands of hours and had it write countless thousands, maybe even millions of words for me in different ways, I know what that is and I can see it. And I can tell, I'm an AI detector. I can look at somebody's copy and tell like that if it was written by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Are you noticing that thing? What do you notice that tells you telltale stuff?
What I notice is that when I'm reading it, it's like it's not connecting with me. It's like there's something missing. There's like when someone's really written something or saying something, you can feel it as a truth, and I feel something. And I think sometimes when it's just AI, I'm just like, it just feels like these words that have no meaning.
So I want to dig in
not
on that.
Always, but yeah.
I get it. I have something really to say to that, but I want to get to Glenn first with this first question before we dig more into that. So Glenn, You said in the beginning, maybe before we started recording, that you're more in the beginning stages of this, and that's fine. How are you using AI, and what do you see it? You send me stuff periodically, and one of the things you sent recently about the humanness and stuff was the reason I actually reached out to you to have a voice in this process.
Right.
And so tell me what you're doing and how you see this stuff.
All right. So this is where I'm at. This is very recent. I wrote Mindful Illumination, Exploring Stillness, Mindfulness, and Kundalini Awakening a year ago. Got it on October 9th. It became available on Amazon. For the past year, I've been writing, and I want to write a second edition. So I was at the point where I was going to just write it. And then I was like, I don't want to be behind the computer, to be honest. And then I kind of gave in to the idea, well, maybe I'll put it all into AI, and then it'll write my second edition for me. And after talking to a couple people, my friend Dan was like, Glenn, man, this is your work. Your signature, your voice. He's like, do the work. And I'm like, so I chewed on that for a little bit, and I said, you know what? Yeah, this has to come from me. So I turned the corner. I was going to give in to AI, give it a whirl. But in the end, one of the marketing things I want to put on my book on the cover is there were no pieces written by AI. This was authentically written from me, by me, completely. So, I'm a rookie to all this. I'm sure it would do a good job, but I also, as far as accountability, it would be hard for me to say this is my book. Is it really your work if you're allowing AI to accompany your music? Is it really your music?
So that's an interesting thing, and I want to respond to that because I think there's, and Rachel, you alluded to this also, lots of ways to use or have AI. Some of the other folks that have been on here refer to it as a creative partner. And so what I've done, and I've written lots of books, and almost all of them are written without referencing anything else, except I looked up lots of stuff on Google. I read lots of other people's works, and all those things influenced or helped me shape my own thinking, just like anything that we learn in your work about Kundalini and other things. So what I do, and I'm just throwing this out there for you and for the benefit of listeners, I don't have AI write anything that is just, okay, good, you wrote it, I'm done. What I do is I'll take a chapter, for example, and I don't write a book unless I have a story arc done, and that's part of the whole thing. I help people write their books, and I use a particular process. But the story arc, I have a chapter, and I'll have the heading and the name of the chapter, and I'll have the main points that I want to do. And then I will take that, and I'll upload it, and the whole story arc and the content of the book. And by then I put in 3,000 or 4,000 words about what I'm trying to do with the book and what it's for and everything else. And besides that, AI's got all my other stuff, millions of words. But then I'll put this chapter and I'll say, so let's look at this chapter. And then I'll have that outline in front of me, and I will dictate maybe this long of a thread, because after you dictate it and then you hit whatever it transcribes it, so I see it's big, long, and I'll tell it what I want it to say and what's going on. And then I will allow it to give me a suggested draft responding to the points that I wanted in the chapter and the huge dictation that I gave, sometimes longer than a whole chapter's worth, but then I don't have to worry about sounding good. I just say it, a bunch of stuff, and then let it come back to me with a draft. And then I'll fix it and edit it and do stuff that I want to with it. So that's a thought that I have experimented with on the last two books, numbers 21 and 22, in how to use it as a creative partner while still maintaining essentially absolute control in that direction.
Right.
Sorry, Glenn, you go first.
I'm just going to say, my first book, called Best Foot Forward, I wrote myself the first edition of it, and then I was a math teacher for public school for about 7 years. I was all over the place, and quite the experience, teaching experience from middle school and high school and adult ed. But anyway, my point is, when I wrote Best Foot Forward, I had a friend who I went to high school and college with who was an English teacher. I am not a writer. I'll be the first to admit I am not a writer. Yeah, there's a couple books that I authored, but I don't have the gift of what I think is an ideal writer. But anyway, when the second edition, when we put it, we collaborated. We co-authored. So when I read the finished product, it was strange because Ray would put in, the onus is on you, and I'm like, onus, what the hell is onus? It's not my vocabulary. And obviously you want to kind of compliment each other, almost like a ghostwriter. You want to have a kind of a similar voice, otherwise very choppy. So my point is, if AI, it's almost like a preview to AI, where all of a sudden there might be a word that you never used ever, and now it's being thrown into your work, and it's like, well, that's onus is not me. I never used that word before. And then you got to say, well, does it apply? Should it be a word that I do use? Does it have merit?
Yeah, it's a good thought and a good question, and it is a little bit like collaboration. Rachel, what were you saying about?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting because I've used it in a similar way to you. So I'll get a lot of my thoughts and ideas and information that I want to share. I speak a lot better than I write, so I often will speak the words, and like you say, then and then it will just come out as a transcript, and I find that useful. But what I then don't, and then I will put it into AI, and but I have to be very clear with it. Say, do not change my words here, because like you said, Glenn, it will try and change it, or it'll think of it, or maybe I could say it like this, and it'll add words in that I would never use.
Yeah.
And so it's useful because I find it useful because it can give you structure, and it can give you, like you said, Ken, a really good potential first draft.
Right.
But when it starts trying to do its own thing and take over, then I'm like, no, because then it's not, I don't feel like I would say that.
Exactly.
So then it irritates me.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to ask a new question, and Glenn, you can go first on this one. And you can say more about the old if you want. So what do you see as potential, and again, thinking about coaching will define it, so it can be a lot of things, but let's say coaching is the act of being in the facilitation, encouragement, intentional, some people call it love, but you're in the business of intentionally being for someone and helping them encourage some growth, thinking of personal trainers, thinking of sports coaches and stuff. So thinking of coaching that way, and thinking about how fabulous AI is with words and so forth, what do you see as possible? I put that initial thing, coaching is dead, but what do you see as potential worries or dangers in the context of coaching with the emergence and growth of this technology?
Okay, I'd like to share a personal story that happened this summer. So I'm playing pickleball, and my friend Rob, retired, great guy, he's got a Cybertruck. Now, I follow quite a bit of social media. I had no clue that Cybertrucks were self-driving. I had no clue. So he took me for a ride. He's like, watch this, push home. The thing drives him home, opens up his garage. I'm just like, oh, I'm blown away. But you know what blew me away even more was he's like, Glenn, watch this. So he touches his display. Let's just call it Sally. It's AI Sally, the coach. And he says, okay, Sally, I've been dealing, working really hard, playing pickleball, working training. I'm finding myself, my energy is just, I can't keep up. I'm drained. And all of a sudden Sally comes on, and let me tell you, cordial, nice, friendly. Rob, you've been really training hard, good effort here. And then it advises Rob, and what to do. So Sally is a coach, and I'm like, I told Rob, I was blown away, and I'm like, this is the first I was hearing of this, and I'm like, Rob, whoever this female is behind the scenes, I want to date her.
Well, that's an interesting thing. The forward. So what I'm taking from that, and you can elaborate a little bit more. Do you think then, if she's that good, and setting apart the site that it was a woman's voice and you might want to date her, set that aside for a sec. That's a humorous anecdote, or not so humorous, depends on whatever. But she gave good advice, apparently, and she gave advice that was good for Rob and sounded good and would help him. Was that your experience with it?
It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I thought, like you, months ago, I'm like, you talk about a wake up call. I'm like, there's your coach right there. You know, there's no middleman. There's no middleman anymore. Just like for insurance, you have an agent. You know, they take a lot of the money. The question is, do we need an agent or a coach anymore? Will there be job security? And I just want to elaborate. Some people like myself, I'm traditional. I do not want to go to the store and go through self-checkout. It's not my thing. I want a human being, period. So there will be people who say, no, I don't want to deal with AI. I want a human being. I want that human interaction. I want to feel the love here. I want to feel the love. I want to feel, that end of it. So, I was blown away. And that was a big aha for me. More than the self-driving automated driving. That was impressive, but the actual experience with Sally blew me away.
So that's interesting, because you've identified, and Rachel, you get a chance at this in a minute, but you've identified a core thing that I said when I said coaching is dead. And I got a whole bunch of people mad at me and said, unless, and then I talked about what it was. But you've identified the core thing. The AI's ability, with a pleasant voice in this case, but whether it's written or speaking, to give good advice, to listen to you completely, to not miss any of the symptoms or things that you're talking about, whether they're physical or mental or whatever, to not miss anything. And then with all of its vast database, to come up with really good suggestions and possibilities is unmatched. No individual can do that, because we just can't remember all that stuff. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't create the intimacy and the truth of human connection.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, good.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to tell you, listen, when I wrote Best Foot Forward for middle school, high school kids, I talk about, I did some research years ago, and I basically listened to a lot of professors and what they talked about as far as improving, being a better student, about being a successful person. And the takeaway that I learned was that your EQ, your emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, is far more greater than your IQ. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. So what I found a takeaway was there was definitely some emotional intelligence coming from Sally. She was very cordial. She was like encouraging. And that's what blew me away. And that's why I want to date her.
All right. Well, we're not going to go into the dating part. But what I'm hearing is that there was enough resonance that the part of the blown away was, I actually feel something here that I didn't expect to feel talking to a robot.
Yeah.
So Rachel, go ahead. Rachel, would you react to the idea of what are the potential, and you can react to anything Glenn said too, whatever. What do you see as the potential concerns for the coaching world in the context of, okay, this new cool thing is happening, and apparently it's so good Glenn wants to go meet her. Okay, whatever. Like, talk about that, and that, because that's the truth. You see things online, some lady suing somebody, I don't know, some company, because she's saying that the chat, led her kid, I didn't follow the details, to kill himself, which is horrific.
Yeah.
So if you think about that level of trust and intimacy possibility. And yeah, maybe someone has to be vulnerable and whatever, I don't know. But I want you to talk about what are the potential concerns that you see as a coach or a person who is in the business of helping people with
Yeah.
this thing.
Good question. So, I mean, chat often says it's very encouraging, isn't it? Like you said, Glenn, like when you were listening to Sally talk, like she was so encouraging, and I think chat really can do that. And I think often it sort of says what you want it to say almost. So it doesn't necessarily challenge it might give really great suggestions and really great ideas and be really encouraging and really like, which is fantastic, but it can't pick up, like you said, Kellan, on those like nuances. So like as a human being, if they could see someone was struggling, they would be able to see the warning signs more potentially. An AI isn't necessarily going to see that, so there could be some concern. For me, there will be some concerns there. What else was I going to say? If you are someone who is potentially vulnerable or prone to, I don't know, taking these suggestions and sort of becoming so reliant on the thing, it could be quite dangerous in a way. You could become reliant on something that's not actually real.
Can I share? Can I add to that?
Okay.
So, unfortunately, in our world today, we have a lot of mental health issues. We have an incredible amount of isolation. I talk about mindful illumination, the island of isolation. When you're on this island of isolation, the probability you getting off isn't very good. So unfortunately, there's a lot of people for a lot of different reasons that are single. They're looking for a partner. They're frustrated. They're scared. They're fearful. They don't have the skills necessary to create a healthy relationship with another person. Isolated. So my fear is, like, there was a movie with Phoenix. Well, I forgot his first name. And he fell in love. What is it?
River Phoenix, I think.
I think that was maybe his brother.
Okay.
Because River Phoenix passed away. Yeah, I think.
Go ahead. Whatever.
But anyway, Phoenix, the movie where he became kind of infatuated with AI. It was a big movie, and he got drawn into that. Just like kids, unfortunately, we have a big problem with kids and AI. They're connected. All of a sudden, they're connected to this technology, and then unfortunately, if technology is like, a programmer said, "Hey, we're going to lead them in the wrong path." These kids are so influential; they're gonna do what they're told through this technology. So that's the scary part.
It is, and I need to stop this part because I don't want to go down the road of the negative things that AI could do in the universe. That's not. I mean, it's
all
true.
Good. Yeah,
it's true, but it's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, we're getting back. So I just want to finish with, I think we all have a level of feeling separated, isolated, and that is a big flag for us being vulnerable to a technology, AI technology, where we need direction and we're not able to cope on our own merit. We're dependent on the technology.
Okay. So Rachel, I want you to come back and talk not about the potential worst case pieces, which are real and true, but I want to think about the effect on coaching and the ability, like what's going to separate. If AI is that good at being empathetic and powerful and knowing everything that it could possibly say to you, and AI hallucinates, and we all know that stuff, but it gets better. Like in the 7 months it took me to write this book, I saw its capacity double and then double again in just like every 3 months in terms of its ability to understand exactly what I meant, come back with meaningful and comprehensive answers, et cetera, et cetera. So when you think about what's the danger, not to people, but to the industry?
Yeah.
Like I believe, that's why I wrote the book, that unless there's radical change to what coaches do, they're going to be out of work. And so, but I want you to react to that. Tell me I'm full of crap, or that you agree, and why, and what you see about the industry.
Yeah, so I think it might be a bit of a wake up, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think it will make coaches, if we're just going to talk about coaches in general, actually look at themselves and go, actually, have I become a bit of a robot in how I am and how I'm showing up as a coach? And actually, can I look at myself here and actually discover the uniqueness within me? My unique abilities, my unique skills, my unique voice. What actually, maybe what it's actually doing is giving coaches the opportunity to look at themselves and go, actually, if I do want to keep thriving in this world, this is where I want to show up and where I want to keep being, then what do I need to look at within myself first to be able to really feel like I'm finding my unique voice amongst all of this and showing up as that person? So not hiding behind like a coaching, let's say, like model or way of always being always having. Not all coaches are like this, but I think maybe it gives us people who are coaches the opportunity to go, actually, how can I stand out uniquely beyond this and be myself, my energy, my voice amongst all of this? Because actually that's what people will be looking for. They'll be looking for something more unique, more real, more human. And they can find that when coaches and or people in the industry also have that belief and that courage to really say who they are and what they stand for and who they are in the world.
I love that, Rachel. Can I add to that?
Please.
So here's the big thing. We talk about niches. As a coach, what's your niche? What do you have to deliver? How can you serve? I know for sure, I am absolutely positive AI cannot coach the way I coach. It does not have my life experience. I
Correct.
bring something fresh and unique to the table. There is no coach on this planet, there's no AI that can deliver the way I deliver. Period. Bar none. So if I can approach with you as my client, and I can present in a way like no other coach has presented before, and I can connect with you, and I can say, okay, you're at A, you want to get to Z, let's figure out the plan together. AI might have their own way to do it, and maybe, yes, they can take them to Z, but AI will not take them to Z the way I'm going to do it, and my way to Z might be much more impactful than an AI.
So
I agree, Glenn.
Yeah,
Totally
so that's
agree with
really good. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm interrupting you, Rachel. Finish.
No, I'm totally with Glenn on that, and I think AI could potentially get people to a certain point, but actually, us in our uniqueness and the way we do it will probably be able to take people exponentially a lot further.
So let me tell you some research I did in writing a book, and I took, like I said, 11 coaching models, and I ran them through analysis, and I said, here's 11 models, and that's not all of them in the world, but it's many of the ones that we've all heard of. And I asked, and the results are, I wrote about it in the book too, but I said, well, how good are, based on what you can find, these coaching models, each one of them, at getting clients to their desired outcome? So that was the first question. And the second question I ask is, how vulnerable are they to what you speaking to chat, how vulnerable are they to what you can do now and in the trajectory of capability that you know is happening to that? And so I had them do a full analysis of how good they are at getting the result that a client would pay for, and how vulnerable are they then to AI in terms of its ability to do the same things. And the result, wasn't pretty. And the existing models of coaching, some were low vulnerability, some were medium, and some were high. And the high ones, they're history. The medium ones are probably history too. But the low vulnerability ones was interesting because then I compared that to how good are they at getting to the desired result? Because remember, we all know this, people pay money for coaching. And so they have to be able to translate the outcome into something that's worth whatever dollars they invested. They have to be able to see that in the balance. And so, that's the grim part in terms of the models. The bright light is after it said all this cool stuff, and like Glenn, I was impressed, and I was impressed with the analysis and how good it was and everything else. I said to Chatty, I said, look, fine, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, fine. What do you suck at? Like, what can't you do? Where you completely fall apart? What are you not going to be able to do? And I had a lengthy description asking that question every way I could. And it gave me some really good answers. But the one that just like hit me was coming from what Glenn and what you just said. It said to me, I can't bleed.
Wow. Wow.
And so, to me, that was like,
okay,
that is the thing.
Yeah.
And what I know about watching, and I want you guys' reaction to this, from when I see people coach, when I experience, I've been involved in many different coaching programs and schools and methods and everything else, I don't see the 90% of people are not relating at the level of bleeding. They are living in a, talking about a thing over there because they're not willing to be at the level of connection. And those people, they're gone. Those methods, they're gone. And the only thing that's going to be left, the 5% that are left, are going to be the ones for whom the truth of what they share is evident just as they stand there before they even open their mouth.
Right.
Yes.
That level of what I call embodiment, whatever the word is you want to use. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's what I was alluding to. So what I was alluding to before Kellan, was that is going to make coaches really figure out who I am and how far am I willing to go, and how far am I willing to go for my client and help them bleed, as in that sense, and help them really get to where they really get to a deep level. And I think that's a question for coaches to potentially think about. Sorry,
I agree.
carry on.
No,
Glenn,
you're
go
good.
ahead.
Well, here's my gig. No one's lived my life. You talk about bleeding. I bled and bled and bled and bled so bad. Twice I had to be hospitalized because I hit rock bottom. We're talking ground zero, 6 feet under ground zero. And people say, Glenn, okay, you've been there twice. How the hell did you get here? AI doesn't have anything on me at all.
Totally.
AI will not be able to relate. So in a personal level, I have my journey. AI does not have a journey. It's been programmed, whatever. I have a journey. No other coach, no one has that under their belt. And this is my weapon, my sword. This is
Your
something
superpower.
this is my superpower. And there's a lot to learn from this, because you too can use some of these skills to help you get out of your 6 foot under position and take. And the thing is, I love Diana Nyad, who swam from Cuba to Florida at age 63. She said, find your shore. And when I wrote Mindful Illumination, I share a lot of possibilities. And I say, hey, man, I don't know what's going to work for you. Find your shore. Find your shore. So anyway, back to the bleeding. That's where the learning is. When you suffer, and you have to build resilience. There's no other way around it. You have to build resilience. AI won't know what the hell you're talking about. They can speculate, whatever, but I love what Russell Brand said. He said, why are we here? Why the hell are we here? We're here because it's all about connection. It's about love and connection. AI has nothing on us, nothing when it comes to that.
Absolutely. So, Rachel, looked like you were exploding with something to say. So
No, I was just excited by what Glenn was saying, because I actually think, having had this conversation now, it's actually giving us potential for even further connection, because people are going to start craving it more. I think, yes, AI has these amazing abilities, but actually what it also is making evident to us is that actually we're going to start craving even more, I think, real, true human experiences and connections.
So
And I
you said
think,
something. I'm sorry, finish.
no, carry on. Go on.
No, you think what? I want to know what you think.
Oh, no, I can't. Now I've lost my train of
All
thought.
right. So here's what you said something that just sparked. Here's the thing. You said twice now. This is an opportunity where coaches are going to have to come face to face with the truth.
Yeah.
I can't hide behind crap anymore. I can't hide behind frameworks and tools and things I learned. It's going to get down to what Glenn said, the truth of my being. When I help people write books, what I tell them is the most powerful gift you have is the story of your own becoming. Because besides that, you don't have anything. And so what I think is there's three barriers, and I want you guys to react to this. The three barriers are going to keep coaches from making the choice to go all in. And number one is the head in the sand problem. And that is, we're going to pretend, some are going to pretend that it's not that big a deal. It's not that bad. It won't be that, yeah, whatever. I'm already that. I'm already, yeah. The human part, they're going to say all those words. And so they're going to have the head in the sand until they get washed away by the tsunami. That's number one. The second problem is what I call the anti-problem. Think of a big casino. There's all these blackjack tables in it, and they're all $10 tables. And you want to go sit down, and you realize that all the seats are taken up by robots. And the only place that there is for you to go sit down is in the high roller room, and the sign above says the ante there's $10,000. My experience, what I'm trying to express with that analogy is the ante to get in this game or stay in this game just went up 1,000 times. Because all of that low-level stuff that was that you're gone. You're done. The third thing is the choice to be in the mode of continual growth, of continual striving. That's work. That's hard work. And my experience is most people are not prepared for that work. So between head in the sand, the ante having gone way up to get in this or stay in this game, and the difficulty of truly being engaged. Because if we as coaches are not a product of the product, we've got nothing to share. So I see those three things as being the main reasons why the big majority of that they're gone. What do you guys think about that?
Can I share something that comes to light? Is the fact that how cool is it if you're my coach and I say, hey, man, this is what I'm dealing with, man. This is what I'm dealing with. And you say, Glenn, I've been through that too. AI is not going to say, hey, man, I've been through that too. There'll be a disconnect. It might offer great advice. Great. But listen, man, if you tell me, Glenn, I've been through that too, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, you got me. How the hell did you get out? What'd you do? What's your story? What is your story? I want to know. Can I relate to that story and it's going to help me move forward here? My dad, unfortunately, he went through a very alcoholic period in his life, and he was able to turn his life around, and he became an aftercare counselor for drug and alcohol users, abusers. And his weapon was he's been through it. He's been through it.
Thank you. So, Rachel, what are your thoughts about those three barriers? Are they right? Are they wrong? Do you see other ones? What do you think about that?
I think there will be some people who will potentially feel like, maybe there will be some people who go, do you know what? Maybe this isn't for me anymore, and maybe that's okay. Like maybe they will move on to something else.
I don't even think some. I think it's a huge number, but keep going.
Yeah. yeah, then maybe that's an opportunity for them to go, actually, maybe there's something, maybe they weren't loving, because I personally think if you love what you do and you know you're amazing at it, and you absolutely 100% want to give, serve and support the world, this is not going to stop you from doing that. AI is not going to stop you. So maybe those people don't love it enough, or maybe it's not their passion, and maybe this is giving them the opportunity to go, actually, what is my passion? Yay, let me go and find that instead. And they might find that, and it might be another iteration of coaching, I don't know. So we could see it as an opportunity for people to go, actually, I'm bored of this now and I'm not really enjoying it, let me see what my next iteration is. So there's that. And then I said, and I think it gives us who are completely unique and fully like passionate about it, the opportunity to just actually go even deeper with people. And so I see that as a good thing. Was there a third barrier?
Well, it doesn't matter. I just wanted you to react to the idea. I think we're going to have to. I guess I'm treating that not as trivial. I'm thinking that is the new bar. Your willingness and ability to go to be there and to be that thing.
Yeah. And to be raw.
That's the entry point.
Yeah. And truthful, and not rely on, because sometimes when you see it's like coach or copy coming up on websites and things anymore, it's like, oh, it's the same old boring stuff that's being said, and you just don't connect, you don't tune into it anymore because it's just saying what everyone else is saying. It's not really saying anything.
Ads. I just saw an ad last week. Be a life coach. Pick some dudes, some gals sitting on a beach chair, work from anywhere, make a difference in people's lives, have the exciting career as a life coach. And my answer is robot.
Yeah.
That's one of
now
the people at the $10 tables. You know,
you can have robots teaching people how to be life coaches.
And so that's it. Beautiful.
I want to add, Steve Hardison said, being is everything. And he said the highest state of being is love. Love is the highest state of being. AI will not be able to produce that. Our conversation, there's a love there. There's a flow there. I don't think AI is going to be able to produce that. I don't. And the other thing is there's such subtleties. Like, you know, if I'm coaching someone, and you picked up on this, if there's a hesitation, we can go, okay, you hesitate. There's something there. Let's analyze that. Let's talk about that, because that could be very important. I don't know if AI is going to have that ability. You know, we have this higher intelligence. We have 3 brains. We have our brain in our head, we got a brain in our heart, and we got a brain in our gut. I don't think AI has that.
So we're getting to our time, and I want to give you one more chance. So, Rachel, what didn't you say that's really important for you to pour out of your heart into this convo?
I think it's that human connection, isn't it? I think AI will never be able to match that, and I think that ability to connect with our intuition and connect on a profound level is what I think actually is going to start strengthening for those of us who are prepared to do it. Allow ourselves to bring that uniqueness out of ourselves, our intuition, our own like ability to connect, like Glenn was saying, you know, hear those undertones and actually ask a question that or bring up something that you just know your gut wants to say when you're in front of a client. AI won't be able to do that, and AI can't do that. And so I think it really gives us that opportunity to shine, actually, and be that beacon that rises above all the I just call it, it's a bit like what's the word I'm thinking, it's just AI delivers stuff, but it's not necessarily going to have any profound energy beneath it. It's just going to be words and advice, but it doesn't have any true emotion behind it.
I love the energy behind it. I love that.
Yeah.
And so you get a chance to say whatever you didn't say yet that you think.
Okay.
Important.
Well, there's 2 things. I think it's going to be. I think a client would say, do you like your coach? And there'll be clients say, I love my coach. I love my coach. I have a hard time believing they say, I love artificial intelligence. I think it's kind of strange. I don't think there'll be a love there. They might say, I get a lot out of it, but to say I love artificial intelligence, I don't think those words will be spoken.
I
The
don't know.
other
You
thing,
said you wanted to date Sally, but go ahead.
well, it's all good. I don't think there's love there, though. I don't
No,
think
I
there's
know.
love there.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
But the last thing I want to share is the big question is we have a progression that's going to happen. We have AI. There will be AGI, and then there'll be ASI. So the question is this advancement, potentially exponential advancement, where is that going? That's the big question mark. How good will ASI, artificial superintelligence, how good will that be? That's the big question mark. Will it have the capacity to love? I doubt it, but we'll see.
Well, thank you both. I appreciate you. I want to both thank you. Glenn, thanks for being here with me today.
Sure. It was fun.
Rachel, thank you for sharing your heart, your wisdom, and being here with us today.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
So
Hey, I got one for you. I love you guys.
I love you too. And I say that to my listeners all the time, and that's fabulous.
And I hope they feel it and hear it and let it resonate.
And you know what? I do love you, and you can't do anything about it because it's my choice. Anyway, I want you guys to listen to this again and think about it. You know, this series of episodes was designed for coaches and those interested in it, and decide for yourself if you are willing to be in that 5%. If you're willing to be there, because those people are going to be in higher demand. And the truth of that authentic connection is going to be needed and real. And as this technology gets better and better, its ability to simulate and to cause those feelings, which is just neurotransmitter and stuff, emerge. Its ability to do that is going to increase. And so we as coaches, we're going to have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to do, to create, and to give? And I'm all in, and let there be no mistake about that. But it's time to ask yourself about how you view this as part of creating your ultimate.
Sky. Never hold back, and you'll never ask why. Open your heart, and this time around,
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to KellanFluckigerMedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, YourUltimateLife.ca. Subscribe,
your feet on the
share.
ground with your heart in the sky.